Okay. Each participant is allowed a 60-second opening statement. We had a coin toss backstage, and the winner of that coin toss was Senator Edwards. So, Senator Edwards will begin.
Well, I must tell you that my mother, Bobby Edwards, raised me to be a Southern gentleman, and as such, to always, forgive me, let ladies go first.
Thank you, Senator. First off, this is not for the Nationals hat. This stands for my love, Dick Cheney. I want to thank you for having me last night, and I want to thank the rest of you for inviting me here.
First of all, I'd like to thank Ms. Coulter. She's helped me immeasurably in my fundraising, and I'll tell you why. She used a vulgar term to accuse me of being gay at a Republican function, and we were able to turn that into an internet fundraising program to raise Coulter cash, we said, and we raised in excess of $300,000. And so it was so successful, as a matter of fact, that now anytime I go out and I'm going to be photographed in public, I'll be standing next to a cowboy, an Indian, a cop, and a construction worker.
Do you watch television at all?
Oh, I mostly watch Fox News and, of course, the entire Fox network. I mean, where in the liberal establishment media can you find such quality and moral programming as trading spouses and are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Ms. Coulter, do you watch any other news shows other than Fox?
Well, I sometimes watch CNN and their correspondents, but overall, I stick with Fox News, especially Sean Hannity. He's my favorite. I mean, Sean Hannity is the Anderson Cooper for straight people.
Yes, and I believe Anderson Cooper is the Sean Hannity for smart people.
Let's see, Senator, do you watch Fox News at all?
You know, the truth is, my house is so big, I have not found the room with a television in it yet, but when I do, I don't believe I'll be watching Fox television. I think I'd rather watch a Pauly Shore Film Festival.
Another tense situation across the globe. We've got things heating up in North Korea. Senator Edwards, how would you deal with that?
Well, first of all, part of the problem with North Korea is Kim Jong-il, I do believe. Yes, he has a bad attitude. Just got back from Japan, did not have the fun he thought he was going to have. He's at Disney World, and those signs that say you have to be this tall to ride this ride. Second thing is, there's a bank in Macau that's holding $25 million of North Korean money, and they refuse to give it to Kim Jong-il until he provides two sources, two forms of identification, and they refuse to accept his membership card in the William Hung fan club. That's the genesis of the problem in North Korea.
We have to remember one thing about Kim Jong-il. I mean, and why we have so much problems with him. I mean, after all, their leader is a megalomaniac, fascist, who refuses to listen to anyone else's ideas, just goes with his own plan, and doesn't care what the rest of the world thinks about what he does. Which is why he and George Bush have so many problems communicating.
I'll take irony for 1,000, Alex.
Guantanamo, sometimes called Gitmo. What are your thoughts?
It's a disgrace. Did you see this week? There's an email from the FBI that was declassified that shows that the enemy combatants are being subjected to loud music, strobe lights, and touching by members of the opposite sex. We have a name for that kind of behavior in this country. It's called a lap dance. There are enemy combatants there.
We used to call it college.
Speaking of torture, I know this is a big popular topic here. How do you feel about Nancy Pelosi's recent trip to Syria, Mr. Edwards?
Once again, I think the Bush administration said it was a bad idea, so am I the only one who thinks if the Bush administration thinks it's a bad idea, bon voyage?
How about former Senator Fred Thompson?
Fred Thompson. I'm sure you folks watch Law and Order, one version or the other, and apparently the version that Fred Thompson is on, the original, has lost 2.3 million viewers a week, and they're thinking about not bringing it back next year. So is that what the world has come to? Your NBC series isn't doing well, so you're going to run for president?
Another guy with multiple wives, former Speaker Newt Gingrich, is thinking about running.
Bless his heart. He goes on, do you know this? He goes on Dr. Dobson's show, Focus on the Family. Well, who better to appear on Focus on the Family than a man who's had 3? He went on there, I'm sure you know this, and he went on there to get the stamp of approval from the religious right. A man who was having an affair while he was prosecuting the impeachment of Bill Clinton for having an affair. So he wants the stamp of approval of the religious right. Isn't that like the shoe bomber Richard Reed asking for a shoe endorsement from Nike? Or Jeffrey Dahmer trying to get sponsored by the Food Channel? sure he knows his way around the kitchen, but...
Newt Gingrich is kind of a dark horse candidate so far. He hasn't announced it. Unfortunately,
He makes Secretary look like a Palomino.
He's had a few problems in the last week with his mouth. But he was the perfect candidate, the perfect values, the perfect morals, and for the time being at least, the perfect trophy wife. And then he opens his mouth last week and says bilingual education. Have you heard about this? But bilingual education teaches the language of the ghetto. Well, of course, the Hispanics in particular went in an outrage. I mean, not that he cared about outraging the Hispanics, but he did care about outraging the rich Republican Cubans in Florida. Then he goes on to Hannity and Combs the next night. Hannity and Combs is talking to him about the situation. He goes, I never meant to insult Hispanics by using the word ghetto. I mean, everyone knows historically the word ghetto has only been applied to Jews. So, I mean, I did have to admit, I had to admire the man for doing that because he managed to piss off 2 groups in 1 week, where I usually only get a chance to piss off 1 group a week.
Honestly, the truth is, the bottom line is, Jeb Bush is a smart Bush brother. It breaks my heart. I cannot imagine what it must have been like for Jeb Bush to be at that Bush family gathering back in 1999, and Karl Rove breaks it to him, for president, they're running George. It's like being Jimmy Carter. You go to the Carter family gathering, and they break it to you, they're running Billy.
Scandal-ridden and still indicted former Texan and Republican Majority Whip Tom DeLay. He's written a new book called No Retreat, No Surrender.
Tom DeLay's written a book called No Retreat, No Surrender. He quit his job in leadership in the House. Is that not retreat? And then he gave up his seat in Congress. Is that not surrender? I can't believe a man like that would write a book called No Retreat, No Surrender. That's like Michael Jackson writing a book called All the Girls I've Loved Before.
Considering your position in the Democratic presidential candidate race right now, it would be more like you singing Leader of the Pack.
Ouch.
Ouch.